Good morning and welcome to Family Matters this Thursday, where we have Relationship Clinic, and we have a very interesting topic today on cultural differences in relationships. And I have a very interesting couple with me. I don't think you want to miss this, just to get to know about their cultural difference. They come from different backgrounds, and so we'd want to learn and know about, how the love journey has been for both of them on the other side. Challenges, solutions, all those things. So stay with me and communicate with us. Tell us what you think, any questions you may have, or comments, or suggest, or even compliment, because it's such a beautiful couple, by the way. So talk to me on 20316, WhatsApp on 0786316316, and we shall be engaging. Karibuni sana, Mr. and Mrs.
Asante.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Asante.
And probably you'll just introduce yourself. Yeah? Names? Yeah.
Yeah, my name is Kelvin Kavita.
Right.
I am an electrical engineer, but also privileged to be married to this wonderful lady.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Rachel, Purity, hopefully.
Yes.
I am born again.
Amen.
I'm a child of God. I happen to practice the law.
Okay.
I was an advocate of the High Court of Kenya, married to this wonderful man called Kelvin Kavita.
I said it. I know they've heard you. I know they can see you. Amazing couple. And we are just going to delve deep into this conversation.
Yeah.
First things first,
All
how
right.
did the two of you meet?
This is an interesting story.
Yeah.
We were connected by a mutual friend.
Okay.
So we went on a blind date for our first date.
Oh.
We knew of each other,
Yeah.
but really we got to meet in that first date, on that first date.
Oh.
And it was amazing. And 3 years later, here we are married. And
4 actually.
4 years later.
4.
Yeah. And God has been good to us.
Yeah. How was it for you, like, Rachel?
I think I had been single for a while. I had a massive heartbreak.
Okay.
So when we had the conversation and the friend asking whether we were open to meeting, I was open.
Okay.
I felt I had healed and I was in a position to actually now meet people. So it was very exciting.
That was
Because
like
it's not
after
conventional. Around 3 years.
Okay.
Yes, around 3 years. Yeah, so I was excited to go on the date because I had heard of him. He was a good friend to now the mutual friend who linked us up. Yeah, and it was quite exciting to now go on the date. And on the first date, I think it was very clear to me that we proceed to hopefully marriage.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
A beautiful story indeed. Beautiful.
It is.
So, how is can you just give us a background of your own background?
Yeah.
And then Rachel will also give us her own background.
All right.
Because we're talking about cultural differences. So we'd want to start from a place, your background.
Yeah.
Well, I was born and bred in Machakos. So my upbringing was cosmopolitan.
Okay.
So grew up in Machakos town around the Kamba culture. Then came into Nairobi for school. So I'd say my cultural background is a bit more cosmopolitan.
Oh.
Yeah, but also Kamba as well.
Nice, nice. Okay. Rachel decided wacha ende pali. I don't know if it's true. Maji squeeze iko.
Maji iko kwa wingi.
Okay, sorry. Rachel, give us at least your background.
Yeah. It's interesting. Maybe before I give the background,
Right.
I went to Kamba schools. So in high school, I was in Cumberland.
So God was preparing you already.
So we keep joking around. God was just preparing you to where you end up
Absolutely.
being.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I grew up in the coast.
Okay.
So born and bred, Mombasa. But my folks are Kikuyu, so
Okay.
Kikuyu
Okay.
as far as tribe is concerned. Yeah, so that would be the cultural background, both a mix of Swahili and Kikuyu as well.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love this. Is indeed a cultural. This is amazing.
Yeah.
So now, how was it like for you when now the first time you're meeting your in-laws,
Yeah.
the other side?
Yeah.
Yeah. Your expectations and what they met.
They were met. I think going in for the first time, I anticipated that they would be more. Having met my wife,
yes,
I anticipated they'd speak Swahili.
Yeah.
But got there, met them, and the Swahili was quite deep. At first, certain things are just flying past me. Yeah, but it was beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
Just getting to enjoy the sweetness of both cultures.
So this was in Mombasa?
Yes, this was in Mombasa.
So actually now you're experiencing mambo ya pwani sasa,
Yes.
wali wa nazi and all that.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, so that mixed with a bit of Kikuyu culture as
Wow.
well. So there's a certain beauty that came from
Yeah,
from
absolutely.
it. Yeah.
Ah, okay. Nice. Rachel.
Yeah.
How your expectations on this other side, and also what they met when you met your parents in love.
Yeah. My expectations, first when I was now told about him, I thought my understanding was he's very rural.
Yeah.
In the sense, I was going to meet a Kamba who has been bred in the village, you know, cultured there.
Yeah.
So when I met him, I was like, I'm so disappointed. I was expecting you to have an accent, the colors, and to put on yellow. So with my in-laws now, with my parents in love, I expected the same thing. But now when I met them, they're very polished.
Yeah. Whoa.
They're very polished.
You can see their side, the product.
Yes. Yeah. But they're also have interacted.
Yes.
My best friend before I got married is actually Kamba.
Okay.
So having interacted with cows quite often, my expectation was I would have had a similar experience with them, and true to it, they were very warm, very kind, very loving.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
They received me with open arms, and that's something that I'm very grateful for.
And very important at that, to just feel loved in a different environment, different culture, you know. Oh, that's wow, I'll keep saying that. A beautiful story. Now, so here you are. So what is the most rewarding, and either of you can answer me, the most rewarding, aspect of this cultural connection? What have you embraced the most in this difference in cultures? And you guys are lucky you have like 3.
Yeah.
If I could start.
Yeah.
I think the diversity.
The diversity.
The diversity in many things. First, for me, meals. I really love Swahili meals. Yeah. But also love the Kikuyu meals as well. And my beautiful wife has also adopted Kamba meals.
Yeah. Wow.
So it's kind of an interesting mix of meals that we have, which of course enhances our experience, but also in terms of learning new things about the other opposite culture, the other cultures.
Yes.
As an example, my wife comes from a culture that is very community-based.
Okay.
As opposed to where I grew up, where you belong to a community, but essentially are living one family almost separated from the other.
Yeah.
But for my wife's upbringing, it's more community, and you embrace the people around you, your neighbors and everyone. Meet people on the road, you say hi,
yes,
you have a good relation with them. So just beginning to embrace that, so that it broadens for me my opportunities and my embracing of other people.
Right.
So I think that's one of the beautiful things that has arisen as I have embraced my wife's culture as well.
Wow, lovely, Rachel.
Yeah.
for you, what has it been like? And I love the food part, because food plays a big role, by the way, in culture. Because even when the in-laws come, it's about the food first, because this is what is going to connect. First we eat, and then now we start the negotiations and stuff. How has it been like? Is it just the mudokoi, because that's all we know from Kaoland, or there's more that we don't know about the food uko, and tell us a bit more about that as well.
I think the nzo really stands out for me. In fact, when we go home, Mom has usually prepared a lot of that. So a lot of the cereals, they have a lot of cereals. Even when we go to the shamba, you have different cereals that you're given. I remember taking a walk with him, and he was telling me, this is the plant for this, this is the plant for that. We're thinking, I didn't see this growing up. So that is always quite exciting. And then now when we go, we have them brought to us. We even share with our friends, like our friends know, like we're from Machakos. And then we share the foods with them. So the foods is definitely a highlight. And the modokoi as well, the maize. Mom prepares that for us when we go home, and when we come back home to Nairobi, we're able to share it with our friends. I think the other thing that I have embraced from their culture, we may be community-based, but now specifically for my family, it was not a large, my family of origin wasn't large. Like my parents didn't have many siblings. So we were and the fact that we were in Mombasa, so it meant most of our family, like aunties and cousins, were in the interior part of the country. So now coming to this other side, where like now on our mom's side, mom from Machakos, there are 13 siblings.
Wow.
So there are many cousins, and I think coming from a community based, for me, I really thrive in that. I have so many people to love. So that is definitely exciting, to have more people in the family, and having, like, when you have gatherings, there are so many people, you're not short of inviting people even before you get to the friends aspect of it.
There's one thing I thought you'd mention, and you've left. I don't know if it's deliberate, but mangoes.
And avocados and oranges and pixies. My goodness, the fruits.
I see when the mango season, and guys are like, if you don't have a cow friend, so that's fantastic. And of course, with all this, in this beautiful relationship and association, there's something. I'm sure there's something that probably, or I'm just asking, is there anything that you've learned that has changed your thinking, just because you went into her culture, into her world? Is there something that you've learned that has changed your mindset, your thinking, how you look at life?
I think first, the community living, that has really shifted how I think about people, and especially now God's family, how we should embrace each other and be close and be involved in each other's lives. But also secondly, there's a certain sense of celebration and joy in her culture. It's heavy on celebration, and that's something that I have learned to embrace. To celebrate small things, big things, call people together when things are happening, and that really has enhanced both my relationship with other people, but also with my wife, in terms of just learning to share and be there when things happen.
Because among the two of you, who is the introvert?
I am.
Isn't it obvious?
So for you, it was just as in, it's a plus for you now that there are these people around you, and now you've learned to thrive also in. Fantastic. So and for you, Rachel, is there anything you've learned from his culture, or from his culture, that has just changed your perception of life?
Yes. It should be actually what you asked about introvertedness. We were having a discussion, and we were wondering the interplay of culture and personality, and we got to appreciate that it can be both, because cows are very chilled. They're not as aggressive as Kikuyus, So that for me has been an appreciation, especially when the Bible says slow to speak, slow to anger, abounding in love. So that embracing of you don't have to shout to be heard. You can even see how he's talking. He's very chilled, very calm, cool, composed, collected. Yes. So for me, that has been something I have embraced. Because even in the family, like when we go home to Machakos, it's very different. In Mombasa, people are loud and people are in your business. In Machakos, people are chilled. Conversations are very structured, are very cultured. So that has been a beautiful thing to embrace for me.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Now, you know, so here you are, and of course there's a society around you, your people. Was there any like resistance to when we don't have women here, you know, those kind of things? And have you allowed guys into that space to just come and, you know, because like you're saying, Coastarians can be nosy. How did you handle that? Was there even a situation like that to start with?
And I'd say first, the reception from Machakos was quite good. They embraced my wife almost instantly. When we went and we met. So I wouldn't say we had any sort of resistance, at least from that point. But as well, I think the coastal nature is not a bad one, which then it's nosy necessarily. It's more involved. Like I want to know how you're doing.
It's a concern.
It's a concern. I want to really understand what's happening in your life. So I would say, in a certain sense, it's actually good, embracing. So we've also seen that with our parents. Just them enjoying the other side, how they communicate, how they check up on you, how they even send you memes. Laughter, joy. So I wouldn't say there's been
the resistance,
or difficulty in getting along.
And also probably sometimes it's what you allow. To, you know, the boundaries. You must set boundaries, definitely, right? So are there any kids?
Not yet.
Yes. But what kind of culture or traditions would you pass on to them, God willing, when they get here? Some of the culture and tradition that you may want to pass to these young ones when they come.
I think for us, one thing has been clear, that we first would want for them to embrace the faith and understand what it means to be in Christian fellowship, to be a believer, what principles, what things are important to God. But also secondly, to have an understanding of where they've come from, an appreciation of all three cultures, and the best of each, because there are certain things that would be common in all of them, maybe to different extents. So we want to pass along all those good traits, all those good values that we see.
Fantastic. Okay.
It's reminded me, maybe Sally, something we were discussing this morning. Cukes are known to be hardworking and plotty, maguta kind of people. So we were sharing with my hubby, and we were saying how in our first year of marriage, our first investments were actually mashamba.
Good influence.
So I remember telling him then, I was joking, I was like, oh, you got married to a cuke. So I think, So I think that's something that's also in addition to what my Kavita has mentioned. It's something that we would want to pass down, the value of culture, the value of hard work, diligence, doing whatever it is that your hands find to do, doing it with all your heart as unto the Lord.
And I hope my listeners and viewers are actually have heard that. You said my Kavita.
Yes.
Did you guys hear that? So please send me comments, compliments, questions, so that you can, this is just a thriving relationship. Talk to me on 20-316, 0786-316-316. Keep sending in your questions and comments as we move on. Now, there's in every relationship lazima kuna ile kugongana kidogo. Has that happened because of your different backgrounds of culture, and how are you able to just resolve this conflict amicably?
I think the very things that you like about the other culture sometimes become things that sometimes annoy you. About kukwaruzana. Like for instance, I've mentioned quite a bit about the community nature of living. Well, at first I felt like now I'm used to a smaller space, and now I'm being forced to a larger space. To a larger space. So it brought a bit of conflict and friction.
Understandable. Because of also of your personality, you're an introvert.
Yes, because I'm an introvert, and what I'm used to in terms of handling and even conflict resolution. Secondly, with regard now to conflict resolution, it quickly became apparent to us that we conflict very differently. I would want to be in a place where first let me think about what has happened, let me consider it in my mind and in my heart, and then we can converse about it later. My darling wife is almost opposite. She wants for us to resolve it now.
Most women, I think, are like that. and the men feel like you're being pestered. Get me.
So of course that brings about a bit of rough edges. So how we resolved it is we had discussions about those specific instances where we feel we're not similar. And try to find a middle ground.
Fantastic.
In terms of we don't have to do it the way we do it. And then we don't have to do it the way how people do it. So finding a middle ground in terms of how to deal with things.
And you know, that sounds to me like heavy love. I can see some compliments. Actually, I said guys should send in compliments, and someone, Akisa Inyele, is saying, good morning, ma'am. Wow, beautiful and blessed couple. A compliment to you. Then there's also Liz, who is saying, morning, Sally. I enjoy your show. The interaction with your guest is on another level. We thank God for that. Thank you so much for watching. And now we pick it up from where we left. We were talking about, if there's been any conflict just because of the cultural differences that you have. What has your experience been like?
I think my culture, where I come from, people are very open. And so we tend to sometimes what I have gotten to appreciate now with my hubby's culture may be deemed oversharing because we talk a lot. So they're more keen on boundaries. Like this is not information you need to divulge. For us, I think we don't struggle with being vulnerable and sharing if it's our emotions, if it's a situation, if I'm telling a story about something that happened. And that has been a source of conflict. But also it's been how we've learned how to conflict, to fight fair. So that then when I need him to express himself, I actually request. I say, no, you can't just talk about overalls. Let's try and get specific. And then also something that he mentioned, we want to resolve things now. This has happened. This is how I'm feeling.
Is it we or you?
I need it resolved now.
But you're speaking on behalf of so many women, so it's we.
It's we. So I need to resolve. This has happened. Let's talk about it now. Why should we wait? And I think what now we have learned is, it's okay. Let's mull over it. Let's think it through. We may end up saying words that we may not be able to take them back, especially words that are hurtful. So it is wise, it's prudent to just wait so that the emotions fizzle out. By the time you're addressing issues, it's more objective. And then the other issue I had mentioned about being slow to speak. So even how we conflict, like how you resolve. It's not in a harsh manner. I think we tend to be, now the culture that I come from, we tend to be very harsh in our words and aggressive. So learning that gentleness is actually a fruit of the Holy Spirit. So being gentle, being calm, caring for the other person deeply, and caring for their hearts and their emotions. So we've seen that interplay coming.
How long have you been together again? From even dating up to now, how long?
4 years.
4 years.
4 years.
Yes.
So do you understand? Do you speak each other's language? Do you understand each other's language?
We do understand each other's language to a good extent.
Okay.
It also helps. One of her languages is Swahili.
Yes.
Ebu tell her something like now in cow, like you love her, Nini, something nice. Just tell her, then I see her response, or if she's going to blush or something. Ebu tell her.
It's interesting. I don't actually speak Kikamba.
But even I love you in cow. Haya, your turn.
But
I think it's almost
usually, actually, our mom says it when we are at home. She's like, you know, Wamboi knows even more Kamba than you.
Exactly. But you see, that's why you're each other's pillar.
Yes.
And it's interesting. I mean, it happens that he's not like he said, he's a cosmopolitan type of guy. And even you kind of, because, so it helps. You're the pillar here. And then we are very good in languages as women, so it's easier for you. Now, how do you then, this sense of, how do you keep it going and just ensuring even in your home, you maintain your culture and yours, and you just balance it out?
We try and mix things, but also I think my wife is a bit more intentional about a few cultural influences here and there. So I actually joke quite a lot. She likes to listen to a lot of content in Kikamba and in Kikuyu.
Wow.
And then she's always happy to go and meet people.
Yes.
And try to engage them in a cultural manner. Which I think helps us, but also because culture is a lot deeper than language, we try in terms of now the values that are in each culture. We try and pick from each and then try to have a more combined sense of belonging.
Okay. And even food.
Yes.
Do you cook mudokoi at home?
Yes.
And all that? And by the way, when you spoke about nzo, is that why you guys just look like eating zapo? Because of idea? Is that your secret? Today you have to give us that secret.
I know. It's pressure.
Okay. And then from your end, how do you ensure that you maintain the sense of culture and just keep it going?
So he's mentioned, I think by virtue of the fact that we are not as old, I think the older folks tend to lean towards talking the language and whatnot. For us, it would come to play when we get home. Say if we're watching, for me, and he jokes about it a lot, I'm constantly listening to Kao or Kikuyu music, and I tell him, our kids will be Kao and Kikuyu.
So
they better have something. And even the food, like you mentioned, we do, like when we have visitors coming, most of the times we wouldn't do the normal chicken curry. We'll probably do biryani, we'll do pilau. That's like known, I think, by now. When people are coming to visit, we'll have those traditional foods.
Nice. Wow. So, beautiful couple. What are some of the romantic gestures, at least, you throw at each other from time to time? Any one of you can go again. But I think the man of the house.
It's the pressure Christine.
It's Christine. I think we've learned each other love language in a sense. So I know, for instance, that she really loves affirmation. affirmation, touch, which I'm trying to do even at
I can see that. We all can see that. For our listeners, please know that the husband's hand is has been permanently on her shoulders. Please note that.
She likes dates. And a few other things.
Okay,
so I try to, as much as possible, and to make her happy in that sense. Don't always do the best, but I think she can report better.
You're doing well. You're doing well.
I love you speaking about love language, because that will be my topic for next week. And I wish I could read. Anyway, so, and from your end,
I think gifts. He loves gifts, but I'm realizing, I'm appreciating that I love to gift as well.
Okay.
Yeah, so I gift him often. And then there's also the words of affirmation. For him, he's keen on... So I struggled with mental health after the breakup. So one of the things that really attracted me to him is how solid he is. And so that means then in my speaking to him, it has to be respectful, but it's not the domineering kind. You can tell he's very calm, peaceful and peaceable. So then the romantic gestures would be affirming him in a gentle way. So not talking to him in a brush kind of manner, but being very respectful, but not the fearful kind. It's the loving, gentle respect.
Godly respect.
Yes.
I'm seeing Yani coming in. Itwanga Fast and Furious. Now here we go. There's Daniel Mudheki. Daniel is saying good morning. Daniel says, I think that one is not... Okay, let me move to this other one. Someone is saying the love between the two is visible. God bless their marriage. And then there's also that the Daniel one has come. He says, good morning. I trust you slept well. Enjoying today's word. Be blessed and have have a great day ahead. So guys, I mean, for those who are not on the listeners, I can only describe, but it will just be nice if you could also watch and I mean, go to our YouTube channel, definitely be there. So now we're here. Do you think at this point, the society now is accepting intercultural or cross-cultural relationships and marriages? Do you think the society now is accepting these things? Because before it would be like, no, you have to, there'd be that pressure. As much as you've made up your mind, but still but do you think now things have changed?
I think things have changed. When you look at our friends, a lot of them are actually doing intercultural marriages. So I think society is beginning to shift, and there are generations that are beginning to also appreciate that it's okay to look for someone outside of your own culture. But also I think there's a sense in which our country is also becoming more cohesive, and as a people we appreciate other people in different cultures.
Fantastic.
It's interesting, Sally, if I may add. Recently we have friends who got married and they were from the same tribe, and it was shocking. It was shocking because it has not been the norm
for them to get married to...
Yes. The norm has been for intermarriages as far as tribe is concerned. So I remember thinking, wow, it's never something we had thought about, but most of the people in our generation are actually marrying, like tribe is an issue, to the point that when you are marrying from your community, people realize, hiya, this one is different. Like now the peculiarity is those who marry within their tribe as opposed to those who marry outside the tribe. And there's something during the Itara. Itara is the family, is the function after the Rorashu, at least for the Kikuyu culture. During my Itara, one of the things that my mom in love mentioned was she was very clear in her prayer that the son wouldn't marry from cow, from Kamba culture.
Oh.
Yeah, so she was very, and that that would explain the embracing that I received, because she was very happy. She was like, I don't mind. It's not that she had a problem with him marrying a cow, but it was her desire that her son would marry from a different tribe.
Well, there's something, by the way, I hear a lot about cows, like the in-laws come and cook. Is is that true?
It is true.
No, like literally cooking, or
You come.
okay, nowadays now you can call caterers, like it's on us.
Yeah.
So who okay, all right. Okay.
Us, we didn't experience it, but we've seen our cousins experience it. For us, because now it's Kikuyu.
It's the other way around. But if you are cow, then you'd go. If you are cow, they'd come to cook.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Actually, our mom mentioned it. She was like, "Hey, me, I was so happy
because you don't want to cook. She didn't want to cook. Okay. So of course, like when we started, we talked about the huge family now. Especially from your end. How do you people set boundaries, especially with the extended family? Because you need that.
Yes.
I think first we agreed as the two. What would constitute decision making for us? So decision making first is first in line with God's word, but also something that the two of us agree upon fundamentally. And then we have continuously made it clear that we do things together. So sort of a good boundary for people. So as an example, if there's need for giving within the family, then making it clear that we are going to give, and going even a step further, where it's the other person sending.
If it's from your side, then she sends the contribution, and vice versa.
And vice versa.
Okay.
And continuously just enhancing those boundaries. So slowly people have begun to appreciate and know. If we're not having a conversation between one person, as in between you and for instance your daughter, it's a conversation between they're sure. Once you tell one, you've told both.
Itafikia tu. So even there's no room for gossip. They know ule atamwambia. Nice. Okay. Do you want to add anything?
Have there been requests? For example, say hosting. Yes, we have received those requests. During our first year, we had made it clear that we are not hosting. At least for people who would come and stay with us. So it was not easy, I would agree, because we love each other, our parents and even the extended family. And we are happy to help and support. And the fact that we are Christians, then we know that it's a delight to actually give and offer support. So when the requests came, because that was the first time now, we've become a one union. Our parents and our families are asking, we've gotten a job, we've gotten an internship, can your cousin come and stay with you? Can your sister come and stay with you? So saying no, I think that established a good foundation for us, so that we are not saying no because we don't want to help. We are saying no because we need to build a foundation as the Cavitas, and being gentle about it, so that then you're not disrespectful. And hoping that the other party would receive it kindly. So just that helped us setting the boundaries, and even comments.
At an early stage, right?
Yes, at an early stage. And even comments, for example, when we have family functions, when you have aunts and uncles who would throw in those comments, just making it clear from the word go that we are now a married couple. It's no longer Wambui, who's your daughter, daughter, or
And
it's no longer Kavita, who's your son. It's the Kavitas.
Yes.
Yeah, so that has helped, and the reception has been good. And then the other thing also, I think our parents have really shielded us.
Okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
I think that's a blessing that we've received, so that, because these are their siblings, these are they have closer relationships with those family members. So then they are able to shield us, so they'll talk to us and tell us, okay, this is the request we've received. Are you able to support? So that they're not coming to us directly.
Right.
So that shielding has also helped us now just cultivate that foundation. Yeah.
So this tells me, or tells our viewers and our listeners, that different cultural background don't have to be very, aggressive, and there's always vita makesi hapa na pale. This is beautiful. It can actually work,
Yeah.
And so money, finances come in.
Yeah.
Is there a cultural influence that probably has affected you, or is there, when it comes to money, how it's handled?
Yes.
Either of you?
Yes.
I think for us, we agreed that we would have a common view of money. So even as we were dating, we'd have conversations about our attitude toward money, to help us understand really, not just from a cultural place, but also from a societal place.
Yeah.
How do we perceive money? How do we want to invest money? How do we want to handle the whole issue of money? And so we had many conversations before we got married on the same, and so we appreciate also finally the godly view of money, which is that God has provided us with resources that really are for his own use, and we are just custodians of the same, which helps us then to understand this is our money, but it is God's money first. And so we need to find a way in which we handle this in a good sense, so that we are not too attached first to the money, but also secondly, we have a common way. So we have a common budget, common pool, common budget, and it guides how we utilize money. I think it's been quite useful for us. So there's no disagreement, because everything is somewhere.
I can see Rachel in full and total agreement. Like, hey, wakili is just like this. Yes, kabisa, kweli. So you agree fully.
Yes,
anything
I
again
do.
you want to add?
Yes, yes. I think spending habits.
Yes.
We come from different ways in which we spend money. So I had seasons in my life, especially growing up, where there was abundance. So splurging and using money as love, viewing money as love. So if I love you, I want to give you gifts. I want to, yes. And then also now for him, he's a bit more structured, and now his background, we have budgeted. This is the money that we will be using. Not that there was lacking in his side, but it was a bit more structured than how it was for me. So coming into marriage, I had to appreciate that first, to understand where I was coming from, how the perspectives and ideologies regarding money, how it was growing up, and how now we needed to have, primarily as an individual, and then now as a unit for us to come to the point where we are saying it's a common pool, common budget. Let's move from there.
Wow. You're covering my show. Like, you guys, you want to take over? Because I do, Family Matters, we do parenting, we do financial, and then we do relationships, like now today. But you guys are covering everything, and that's quite impressive, because, it's all rounded. And I mentioned that we do also parenting, and I'm going to go back to parenting again, because we're trusting God. You're waiting on the Lord, right? So it's coming. We have something called parenting styles.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
Based on your temperaments, how do you think your parenting style would be, Kavita? and knowing her personality, how do you think your parenting style would be?
Yes. I think our parenting will be quite interesting. we have our own differences in how we do things and how we handle children. But before then, I think one of the blessings for us has been in church we serve in children's ministry.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So you're already parents, you guys. You didn't tell me that. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So at first we used to teach together, handle children together, which I think has built a good foundation for us.
Absolutely.
Because whether it's a question of discipline in class, or how we handle, speak to children, it's something that's slowly been developed inside of us.
Yes.
That said, we appreciate that there are subtle differences between us in terms of I can be a bit more strict.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, good.
He's the disciplinarian.
Good.
And my wife a little less.
Okay.
But she's also a lot more affectionate. Well, I can be affectionate, but she's a lot more affectionate.
Yeah, there's that motherly instinct and love.
Exactly. So we appreciate that there are things we are individually good at, and if we do them collectively, then that enhances our parenting.
Okay. Wow. Mama watoto. And for you, you're the not sober one, but the mpole one. The calm one. Because he's the disciplinarian.
He's the disciplinarian, but he's calm.
Okay.
So he's firm, but calm.
Yes.
Me, I'm more eruptive.
Look at how God knows how to balance, you know?
So I think, I'd be more, don't do it.
Yes.
A lot of talking, and then now he comes with one word.
Yeah.
That's firm, but acts. For me, I'm the extrovert, So we'll play, we would, hang out and do all that. But also now when it comes to the discipline part, you'll get action from him. For me, I think you'd get more words. So appreciating, even right now, being very keen that the words that come out of my mouth are actually words that are in line with scripture.
Okay.
So that, because it's very easy for me to say, in the multitude of words, sin resides. So it's very easy for me to end up saying things that would be hurtful and demeaning.
And because of time, imagine time. I'll just let Kavita, because you're now head of the home, you're going to wrap up. Your last sentiments or advice, especially to parents who probably you have children who want to get into, cross-cultural kind of relationship and marriage. What would you just advise, or people who are also in the same, like you are?
I would advise parents first to consider that independent of our different cultures, that first we are people. And so, and understanding that all of us are people, there are many things that are common to all of us. In fact, the values in many African cultures are similar, extremely similar. Just that language and a few ways of
small barriers here and there.
And so allow your children to love the people that they will love. Allow for the diversity. The diversity is beautiful in its own way, and will lead you to even embrace different things and enjoy different things that you may not be, you may not have had in your upbringing. But also finally, that the important things are that this other person is godly, one. Two, is living in line with good values and a good belief system that then breaks some of these barriers. So embrace people, love people, and we've seen many cross-cultural marriages and they work, they're beautiful.
Asanteni sana. Thank you so much. And unfortunately, we just have come to the end. Sadly so, we've come to the end of Relationship Cleaning on this Thursday, but we really appreciate your time, your comments, just taking your time to watch and give those those beautiful compliments. Me have been influenced here. And also, not forgetting to thank our partners who've ensured that we remain on the airways, just to put Jesus there. And also, if you may want to be part of this community that supports this noble cause, please write in and send the name partner to 20316 or WhatsApp us on 0786 316 316. And if you want just to send your contribution and support, you can do that on paybill number 316 316, and the account number will be your telephone number. God bless you and keep you and watch over you through this day. Have a lovely and amazing Thursday. Baraka.